South African businesses are seeking ways to address the challenge of tariffs between China and South Africa, particularly on agricultural goods. SABC News spoke to the CEO of WIPHOLD, Gloria Serobe, about agricultural exports.
Agriculture is quite an important sector in terms of strengthening the economy. We saw the Minister of Agriculture, John Steenhuisen, signing an agreement with his Chinese counterpart. But today there was a discussion, particularly looking at this sector, and I am going to speak to Gloria Serobe, who was part of the panel where they were discussing the relationship focusing on agriculture. Gloria, how important is South Africa's relationship with China when you look at agriculture?
Well, China is the biggest importer of agricultural products, followed by US and so on. So for us, and just in terms of the numbers, about $200 billion they import agricultural products. And so in South Africa, we have lots of those products that they import, which means, but we're a tiny picture of that $200 billion size of the imports. So ours as South Africans, we have to fill in that gap. We do have land, especially in Limpopo, KZN, or Eastern Cape, so we're not short of land. What we have to do is our productivity has got to be better than where we are now, and some parts of that we need the Chinese technology, which will improve on our irrigation schemes, for example, on the choice of best cultivars. Then our production will go up and we can supply them. For example, they've just signed a protocol on avocados and on beef, and South Africa is the best of places to breed beef, especially Eastern Cape, because of the weather and avocados. So I think it is a market for us to take advantage of, because it's wide open. Of course, we don't have preferential trade arrangements at this point. We do need them to, at least their tariffs are quite high, their import tariffs, which is discouraging in terms of bringing product here. And then they have very tough tests on our phytosanitary regulation. They can loosen that a little bit. Other than that, we're good to go. South Africa, we've got the land, we've got the farmers, we've got the market here, and we must take advantage of it.
The Minister of Agriculture on Monday signed an agreement with his counterpart, touching on that issue of testing. Do you think that will go a long way to address your concerns?
I think all the agriculture producers, they can do with better tariffs, because what it means is that our product comes here and is more expensive than New Zealand or Australia or whatever.
Because they are being subsidized.
Because they have a better tariff arrangements. They've got free trade agreements, which are good for them. And for us, we are normal and the import tariffs are quite high. So it will make a big difference, because we can produce, we can do better, but we can do well with better tariff arrangements.
Your message to a woman in particular sitting in the countryside who is, eager to go into this sector, because women are used to this sector. Even our great-grandparents, women, this is what they were doing, working the land.
Yeah. I would say to the women in this sector, please go ahead and do it. Agriculture is not complicated. The nice thing about agriculture, if you plant cabbages and you find it's a wrong cabbage, then you just plant potatoes. You just fiddle with the land. The market is here for you. China is a big market, and they have a shortage of food. And so I think the most important thing, though, is that we have to link these women to the system of government, because they're in the rural areas, they are they are not here, for example. So you've got to network them into the right system and get. But for example, a woman who's in Eastern Cape, the port of East London is very useful to get their products that go to China. But then they can just do with a bit of facilitation from maybe ECDC or provincial government to make sure that their products get out. But it is the time. It is the time for the women to get into agriculture.
Thank you so much, Gloria Serobe. That was Gloria Serobe. She is involved in many business projects in South Africa, but I chose agriculture because food security is quite important, and this is a sector that can assist women both in the urban area and also on the countryside to create jobs. Back to you in studio.